Greetings, everyone. My name is Jonathan Bailey. I'm from the website Plagiarism Today, which can be found at plagiarismtoday.com, and I'm a copyright and plagiarism expert with 15 years' experience in the field. And today, I want to talk about Germany. That's the reason for that is because Germany had a very interesting plagiarism story this week that is unlike something we see a lot here in the United States. So we're going to discuss it, but not just the case itself, but also look at it in some historical context too, because it gets even more interesting when you look at it in terms of recent history and similar scandals. Now, since we're talking about Germany, two warnings before we begin. First, I don't know squat about German politics. I'm just going to be honest. I don't know anything. So if I'm picking on your favorite politician or a politician you hate, sorry. I don't really know much about it. I have no thoughts or feelings about German politics. This is a plagiarism scandal and an interesting one. That's why it's here. The second thing is I'm going to butcher some German names. Sorry. I've gone through, I've listened to pronunciations, I've practiced, I've tried, but I'm a Southern boy. My tongue is limited. I mispronounce things on the best of days. I'm definitely going to make some mistakes here. Please, please, please understand. It comes from just my tongue doesn't work that way, not any kind of disrespect of anyone. So the person I want to start out talking about is Francisca Gephai. She's the former, and I have to look at my notes here, Minister for Family Affairs, Senior Citizens, Women, and Youth. That is a hell of a title. But yes, she is the former one. She has resigned amid what can be described as an ongoing plagiarism scandal involving her 2010 thesis at the Free University of Berlin. It got her PhD. Now, the Vrawnaplag group, which operates the Vrawnaplag wiki, were the first ones to bring this to light, and they actually did so in early 2019. Now, this is a group of volunteers who work together to analyze and inspect theses and dissertations by German politicians to try to find incidents of plagiarism or other academic integrity violations and bring them to light so that universities and the public can be made aware of them and take whatever action they deem appropriate. Like I said, their initial report was in 2019, early 2019, and it's just now that the resignation is coming about. And the reason is because that kind of kicked off this weird back and forth where the school investigated it and didn't find anything egregiously enough wrong to revoke the degree. But then more details came out and a second investigation happened. Now that we have a third investigation, which is the one we're on, and we don't actually know the outcome of it. This is very important. They have revealed their findings to Gephai, but she has simply it's not made public yet. She has until June to respond. It's not a final report yet. It's important to note this. Nothing is finalized in terms of this. But she responded to what she saw by saying, A, she will not use the title doctor anymore, and B, that she is resigning her post. So it's safe to say whatever is in that report does not look good for her. Now, that said, she is not leaving politics altogether. She is throwing herself into the race to become Berlin's mayor. But that does seem like a step down, at least to me. Maybe I don't understand German politics. I could be completely wrong about this. But even though it is the capital city, even though it's a major city, going to become the mayor of a city when you're currently in the upper echelon, you're a minister, the equivalent, basically a cabinet member. It seems to be a big step down for me. But once again, I don't know German politics. If I am wrong about that, please clarify me in the comments. Now, the story itself is not that interesting. Like I said, we're not going to be going to Monitor 2 here because we have nothing to compare. I can look at the Vrawnaplag report, and what I did read before I jumped on here, it does look serious. There are many, many pages with more than 50% plagiarized text, some allegedly with higher than 75%, at least one with higher than 75%, and many, many pages in the thesis were involved in this. So whatever citation issues are present are widespread through the entire thesis, and it's problematic. But what is unusual about this is, A, that it secured a resignation. This is something we don't see a lot in the United States. Politicians get him hit with plagiarism accusations all the time, usually to no effect. But also that she's not alone. If you look at just over the last 10 years, roughly, there have been 4 major plagiarism scandals, all of them involving German ministers that have suffered some kind of consequence or backlash over plagiarism in their thesis or dissertation. That's basically the same as if over the past 10 years in the United States, we'd had 4 cabinet members who were forced to resign or otherwise take some kind of corrective action over plagiarism in their thesis or dissertation. The first was in March 2011, involved then German Defense Minister Karl Theodor zu Guttenberg, who resigned after being accused of plagiarizing in his 2006 thesis at Bremen University. His degree was revoked, and the crazy part about his story is he actually faced criminal charges for copyright issues related to that plagiarism. Not making that up. I'm probably going to have an image or a representation of the web news story about it. It is nuts. He was able to get the charges dropped. He made a donation to a charity, and they worked it out civilly, but it actually brought criminal charges over a plagiarism in a thesis. It sounds nuts in the United States, but it's something that can't happen elsewhere. Then, in February 2013, then German Education Minister Annette Schiavon faced allegations of plagiarism in her 1980 thesis, this one going back now 30 plus years. She quit the position after her degree was revoked by her university. And then in September 2015, then German Defense Minister Ursula von der Leyen was accused of plagiarism in her 1990 dissertation at Hanover Medical School. The school here, however, did not revoke her degree. They chose not to for reasons that is their own, and that is their right and their ability to make that choice. They did confirm the plagiarism took place, but they did not revoke the degree. And the result of that is she kept her position, and she is actually currently the president of the European Commission, the executive branch of the whole of the EU. So, safe to say she kept moving on up. So, you take these four stories, and it's just bizarre. In 3 of the 4, the degree was revoked, and once the degree was revoked, that person either resigned or was otherwise removed from that position. And in one case where it wasn't, they were allowed to stay, and they continued their career to great success. So what's the deal? Like, that seems weird, doesn't it? Like, if you're in the United States, you probably don't know very many politicians, especially the upper echelons of government, that have doctorates. People who get their PhDs typically don't go into politics in the United States. However, things are very different in Germany. In Germany, a PhD is highly prized, especially if you want to be a top-tier politician, like I said, on that national stage. You almost have to have a PhD to even be considered. Whether you're going for an elected position or an appointed position, a PhD is crucial to obtaining that type of office. And that sounds like a really, really good thing, doesn't it? Because that means they are appointing theoretically better educated and more qualified people to those upper levels. But it also creates what is referred to as a perverse incentive. That perverse incentive is one where people are motivated to go to school not because they want to learn more or do better or improve themselves or contribute to academia, whatever. They do it because it's a box they have to tick in order to continue with their political career. Their heart's just not in it. And yeah, we hear all the time about people who go to school because of a job requirement or whatnot, not wanting to go. And we see what that sometimes produces even at the lower levels. Now we're talking about it at the upper levels of academia, like I say, getting doctorates. And that's what's been going on in a lot of these cases. It seems like we have people who saw a need early on in their careers to obtain a PhD so they can move up into those upper echelons, those levels they wanted to get up to, and they just wanted to tick the box. They didn't really care about their contribution to academia or what they were learning themselves. They just wanted the piece of paper and to move on. And this has been a problem not just in Germany, but in a lot of countries. If you look at countries, and especially like the Eastern Bloc of Europe, you find countries like Romania, Slovenia, etc., have had similar issues where politicians had dubious degrees, either, like I said, plagiarized theses, but in some cases it's just essay mill schools. It's literally just paying for a piece of paper, all because they wanted that degree to secure their position of power. So I don't really have an answer to this. I'll be very curious though, because the March 2011, like I said, March 2011, that was when the Gutenberg case hit, and I'll be curious to see if others after that continue plagiarizing in their thesis. We have issues of plagiarized theses and dissertations after that are published after 2011. Gephai published hers in 2010, so literally the year before Gutenberg scandal broke, and I have to wonder if maybe that gave her pause to think, wow, my thesis could be next. I don't know. I don't know what was going on in her head. Now, and then Gephai, to give her side of things here, has made it very clear that in her view, she wrote that dissertation, that thesis, to the best of her ability, and any errors in attribution, any errors in citation are simply that, errors. They are not malicious. She intended to write it. She says she worked on it from 2006 to 2009, and it was all her. And if she made mistakes, she's sorry, but they were just that, mistakes. So that's her statement, and she's sticking to it. Now, it'll be interesting to see, though, if she does lose her degree, if she decides to go for another degree, so that she can move forward with her career again. But I don't know. It's just a very interesting comparison. Here in the United States, we don't value doctorates. We don't value higher education as much in our politicians as they do in Germany, especially. So we don't see these types of stories here, but they happen it seems like every 2 to 3 years in Germany. So something to think about. Well, on that note, everyone, thank you very much for spending the past 10 minutes or so with me. I greatly appreciate time. Hope you found this interesting. Please do take a minute, like, share, subscribe, do all that good YouTube-y stuff. Until next time, this is Jonathan Bailey, signing off.